Over 60% of Republicans believe the 2020 election was stolen. I believe that there is overwhelming evidence that Trump is more guilty than anyone of trying to steal that election. And in this video, I'm going to thoroughly go through that evidence. Before I get into it, I want to give credit to YouTuber Destiny because much of the evidence that I'm going to be bringing to the table today is due to his research. So I'll include links to his stuff in the description.
It's going to show Donald Trump in the lead in a lot of key places on election night because absentee ballots inevitably are harder and slower to count. We might have the results saying something on the evening of November 3rd that it will not say the evening of November 10th. You know, we've got the Trump team who's quite intelligent and sees what's coming, and so we have the president messaging through tweets, through what he said at his rallies and his speeches. This notion of any change from that result on election night, he is signaling they will say means fraud has entered the equation.
So there's this thing called the red mirage where the Republicans get a lead at the beginning because they're the people who tend to vote in person, and those are the votes that counted first. But it's a mirage because their lead gets smaller and smaller as the mail-in votes are counted later, and those tend to skew more blue or Democrat. This typically happens every election, but it's going to be much more dramatic in the 2020 election because of the fact of the COVID pandemic. More people want to vote by mail. Another thing that's going to make the red mirage even more dramatic is the fact of how much Trump criticized mail-in voting, so Republicans are more likely to listen to Trump and not vote by mail because they think it's fraudulent, and the fact that Democrats tend to be more worried about the COVID pandemic, that's going to make Democrats even that much more likely to not vote in person and to vote by mail. So I could understand how a Republican would think it's really fishy how these votes just change rapidly like this, but when you have this context where you know that the red mirage is something that happens every election, it's going to be much more dramatic this election, this 2020 election, then it makes a lot more sense, and at least this point in and of itself doesn't make you think, okay, yeah, there's gotta be fraud. Like, there's a clear explanation for this. But maybe you think, okay, yeah, I understand that now, looking back, but Trump maybe at the time genuinely thought this was fraud. And I would buy that if it wasn't for the video evidence we have of his own team saying things like this.
More of our people vote early that count. Theirs voted mail. And so they're going to have a natural disadvantage, and Trump's going to take advantage of it. That's our strategy. He's going to clear himself a winner. So when you wake up Wednesday morning, it's going to be a firestorm. We're going to have Antifa crazy, the media crazy, the courts are crazy, and Trump's going to be sitting there mocking, tweeting shit out. You lose. I'm the winner. I'm the king.
I really do suspect it will still be up in the air. But when that happens, the key thing to do is to claim victory. Possession is 9/10 of the law. No, we won. Sorry, over. We won. Yeah. You're wrong. You.
Then we also have Bill Stepien, who was Donald Trump's campaign manager in 2020, so basically the top guy in charge of Donald Trump's campaign, under oath saying this about what he said to Donald Trump during the election. My recommendation was to say that votes were still being counted. It's too early to tell, too early to call the race. The president disagreed with that. We have a pretty sophisticated operation set up right next door where we're tracking, results, very, very closely. We knew we had more information than probably anyone did in the country at that time about what was going on in Michigan, in every state for that matter. And, we relayed that to Rudy, and we asked him, why he thought we were winning or had won. And it was more based on belief and instinct than numbers or data. Everyone agreed with me. Meadows, Miller, Clark, and Stepien were united in saying, show us the numbers, show us the data. Show us how you're arriving at that conclusion. And he was unable to. Then we have Jason Miller, who is Trump's communication strategist, who was asked under oath what he told Trump to say during his speech the night of the election. That was largely being worked on by, I believe, Stephen Miller and his team, the speech writing team. There was suggestions by, I believe it was Mayor Giuliani, to go declare victory and to say that we'd won it outright. And I remember saying that to the best of my memory, I was saying that we should not declare victory until we had a better sense of the numbers. So we got Trump's entire team who is like, hey, it's not clear that we're going to win the election. Like, let's hold off. Let's say that the numbers are still coming in. Like, it's unclear who's going to win. We fought a hard race. And Giuliani is the only person who's like, nah, let's claim victory. And if the numbers change, then they stole it from us. So Trump has a choice. Either he can go with his entire team, the data experts who have more data than the entire world, who are saying that let's hold off because it's unclear, or Mayor Giuliani, who's by himself, who has a feeling that they won, and so they should claim victory.
We lead by 76,000 votes with almost nothing left. And all of a sudden, everything just stopped. This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election. We did win this election.
So just to recap, we have all these news reporters talking about this red mirage that happens every election and how this election is going to be much worse. And then we have them saying that Trump is probably going to claim victory as a result of this, and we got to be careful because it's not going to be clear. This is something to expect because it happens every election. And then we have the election night, and we have Trump's team saying, hey, it's not clear. We have all the data in front of us. Giuliani has no data in front of him. He just has a feeling. And then Trump goes ahead and does what he planned to do with Roger Stone and Steve Bannon, where he said, hey, we're going to claim victory before it's clear. The votes are going to change. We know this is going to happen. I might not have won, but I'm going to claim victory and claim fraud, just like he planned. This is part one of a multiple part series I'm going to be making, going over the evidence that Donald Trump tried stealing the 2020 election. I didn't want to make it one long video because I thought it'd be annoying, so I'm just going to do multiple parts. You can choose the parts that you want to watch. All the links that I referenced in the video I'm going to have in the description, so you can look at those firsthand and scroll through them, make sure I'm not cutting out any context. This was kind of just the intro. The meat is really going to be the rest of the parts. I don't know how many parts I'm going to end up making. I'm going to go through all the very specific fraud claims that Trump and others said, and the court cases and everything, and what happened leading up to January 6th in the Capitol, what actually happened at the Capitol. I'm going to be going through all of it. So stay tuned. Once I make those videos, I'm going to link them down in the description of this video so you can watch. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.